Iran nuclear
This week,
deal.
President Trump offered to meet Iran's leaders anytime they want to without preconditions. For more than a month, he'd been hinting mysteriously at something changing.
Iran is not the same country anymore.
A Christian activist who had been sentenced to death in Iran, Maryam Rostampour, told I-24 News what's happened recently is that angry protesters are daring to demand change.
People in Iran are getting encouraged. They believe that the United States, which is a big power, is standing with them, with the people of Iran, with citizens. They all come and they protest against the violations of human rights.
A longtime Iran expert who worked in the Ronald Reagan White House, author of 36 books, Michael Ladeen, has his explanation of what Donald Trump's been hinting at.
I think he means that Iran is ready to start negotiating, make a deal.
Well, his prediction that Iran will ask the U.S. to negotiate and then his aim would be a better deal, how is that the same as Iran's not the same place?
Well, he thinks it's changed since they've seen him and since his presidency is so different from Obama, and that's clear enough. But what I've seen is that he says they will be willing to start talking again after the new sanctions click into place. I don't believe Iran does want to talk with the U.S. I don't believe Khamenei wants a deal with the United States. I think he just wants an end to sanctions and to go on making separate deals, his deals with the Europeans.
But isn't it true that a lot of European companies, and maybe also governments, are going to have to choose, right? They do business with Iran or they do business with the United States and its institutions.
Yes, they will have to choose, and they will almost surely choose to do business with us.
That's a slap in the face to the Iranians. Maybe they don't realize it, but again, you don't think that they're a brilliant government who face facts.
No, I don't. I think they're a terrible government. They have everything. They have location. They have resources. They have a decent educational system. And yet the country's a basket case. There's just one crisis after another, from suicide to depression to drug use to abortion to prostitution. And the government is wildly unpopular.
Is President Trump perhaps boasting about something that hasn't happened yet? He's often kind of a cheerleader, optimistic that things will change, but he has said Iran is not the same place in the past 2 months.
Yeah, well, I don't agree with that. What he may believe, what really worries me, is that he may have convinced himself, and this will have depended on what the intelligence community, which has always been wrong about Iran, so he may have come to believe that the regime is doomed and it's going to fall sooner or later, in a minute, in a month, in a year, but it's coming down. And so he doesn't have to do anything. Just sit and wait. Let it happen.
In your writings, both your articles and some of your books about Iran as a terror force and what could be done, I think you've suggested the U.S. doesn't have to invade, but we could do something that would speed up the end of the regime.
Yes, and I'm for that. We can hasten regime change. We should talk to the Iranian people, do with Iran the same thing that we did with the Soviet Union. Sit down with the opposition and talk to them. They know things that we don't know. Suppose we wanted to help these 70 million, 80 million people who want to bring down the regime. And we sat down with them and said, okay, what do you need? What can we do for you, with you?
Have you heard from some opposition inside Iran? What is it they need? What could the
Well,
US
they badly need, the big thing in revolutionary movements is communication, is the various parts of it spread all around need to be able to talk to one another, communicate. And a lot of Iranian dissidents have complained to me that they have real trouble, and the regime intercepts such communications as they are.
So the opposition believes that the United States could provide, maybe through intermediaries, communication devices, setting up networks, however that's done.
I mean, that would be an example, but there are probably other things.
Do they need arms? I mean, the kind of opposition you're in touch with, would they like to maybe stage armed raids on some government facilities?
I think by and large it's a nonviolent movement.
Ladeen cannot say the same about Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Government.
The leaders of the regime don't like Trump at all. They do take him seriously, and they do think he's different. And they see him personally as a major problem. And I worry about his security. It would not surprise me if the Iranians paid someone to try to kill him.
They know no bounds.
Oh no, when it comes to killing people either at home or abroad that they don't like, they know no bounds.